Yo guys, what's up? It's your girl Dev, and today we're gonna talk about my LilDev jumper account. Now, this account is doing quite well in 1874. This account is over 1 million at this point. It's been pretty crazy. We've gone through so many wars already, and it's still going on. Now, there's a lot of content here, and a lot of it's gonna cover a little bit about the strategic advantage that we used against our enemies to take their territory. Alright guys, you ready for it? Strap in, let's go. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to talk about is the Russian problem that we had in our kingdom. As you can see here in this screenshot, there are so many forts scattered across the map. Now, this was one of our biggest issues that we had early on. We were able to build enough flags to push 42 RA. This alliance is not that strong at this time. I mean, it was like 10 or 15 million power, and we were easily at 50 or 60 million at this point. We are rallying this fort here. They did have a Boudica first, and it looks like when they changed the Belisarius, it was a 5 and 8k difference right there in the kills. That's kind of interesting that they used Belisarius on this, but you know, they all have different tactics. And plus, it's so early, you don't have that many good commanders. Now, I want to show you what they did here. This is our ground fight with them. Now, look how they all huddled around together, and they're all using cavalry. I mean, I think I see some archers in there, but they're all using Belisarius. This commander that the Russians used, they used it everywhere. They went from farm killing, they were hitting cities with it, to troop attacks with it. Now, these are free-to-play players, so they don't have access to Mina, and which was really kind of interesting that they did it this way, but it was kind of fun, to be honest. They did have a ringleader, as you can see here. He's the first one to attack, using little markers there. Please ignore my El Cid. I completely forgot about how to build a march at this point. I was just ready to fight. But anyway, so this was kind of cool. I mean, look at all the Belisarians that they have. I mean, we've got a Boudica there with Pelagius, Amina mixed in there as well. I mean, and we're on their territory. And at this point, when we're on their territory, you do get that the alliance advantage, but their tech isn't that good, so there isn't really a big advantage. We did try to pull them back. I got a Fate Changer, of course, free to play, I can't get it. But those Fate Changers, if you can get them, get them. They're definitely a great buy. Looks like they teleported somebody in, and they're just doing a lot of ground fighting, repairing the flag, and we're just trying to push them. We did reinforce our flag, which I'm currently sitting in, to prevent them from just running up and striking it. Looks like the leader, or the person in charge there, it's RA. So RA is the lead alliance part of the Russian community here. And he's given them the signal to pull back, which is kind of interesting that they did it that way. But they wanted to bring everybody home, I guess, to regroup, and they were getting outnumbered. And that's great for resources wise and speed ups, so they're not using an excessive amount of speed ups. I mean, our guys are still pushing. I mean, most of our guys have T3 at this point. There's a lot of T2 and T1s. I realized I had El Cid, so I actually pulled them back. I was like, let me see if I could actually fight. So let me put Sun Tzu and Markswoman. I know that's not a great combo, but again, we're talking about early on, and my skills on Markswoman is actually pretty decent. So I went ahead and just sent her out with Sun Tzu. But they were all gone by then. Okay, so this next set of videos here are clips of us, ULT, taking down DTT, the Chinese alliance. We actually used multiple different alliances for this because they had so much territory. They were the rank 2 alliance at the time, and we needed to take them down because they were not willing to play fairly towards the end, and they were taking out a bunch of alliances for no reason. So we decided collectively as a ULT family to take them down. Now, this is a little bit about the tactics that we used. Here I'm showing you the territory in red that belongs to DTT, and they stretch pretty far. We did have an issue trying to find their large whale, Louis. He's like 12 million power at this point, and we're about 3 weeks in. So I couldn't find him, but this is a little bit screenshot of their territory. They had shrines and altars spread out, which is not a bad idea. Now, this is the key thing with this. None of their territory connects from the fort, and if you disconnect fort territory, they all become ineffective. Alright, so here's some ground fighting first before we get into the tactics on why we did this. Now, there's a lot of Minas, so these are your pay-to-play players, or at least ones that spend some. I mean, a lot had Sun Tzu, we had some Pelagiuses on the field. ULT again is my family hashtag for this jump group. But DTT is showing out in force. We did hit them at 3 a.m. In China, Thailand. It's like around that time for them. So we knew they wouldn't be that active. I mean, just look at the sheer numbers of that they're still up and awake playing. We definitely had the advantage at this point. There's some cities on fire from Rallies. NDL showed up. They are also our allies, and they supported the effort. There's Murphy King. There's some NDL players there, just racking up them kills and supporting the fight. Okay, so here I'm showing you that the flag that isn't effective because ULT equals was able to take their flags out, so now they don't receive any income from any of the resource nodes that they occupy. And there's still a lot of ground fighting that happened here, as you can see. It's pretty intense. Here comes ULT 0 up for the strike, and here they're trying to just defeat them, but it seems like they keep hopping from city to city, which is actually a very good tactic. They can go from their city to the flag, or from the flag to their city, or to their ally cities. Now, just a reminder, if you have reinforcements in your city, you cannot put on a peace shield, or if you have war frenzy. And at this point in the game, your war frenzies are usually pretty low, so you don't have that long of time to wait before you can put a shield up. I mean, it's just the amount of ground fighting. So look, there's a Charles on the field. I'm trying to see what the secondary is, but all these Minas are pretty much are maxed, which is about 200 American. So I mean, like, they're just everywhere. Alright guys, so this is how we did it. We had to use 3 different alliances that had fortresses, especially the center fortress, because it only cost alliance credits to do this effectively. Now, after I completed what I'm about to talk about, I had to clear the resource nodes and kill the barbarians that spawned in the area. You would need at least 2 teleports. You would need a target teleport, 2 target teleports, because no matter where you are on the map, you would have to have joined one of the alliances that have land in this area, and you use a target teleport to come to the territory that they're on. Okay, so this is how we did it. As you can see here on the left-hand side of the screen, we have UTLF, and you would join UTLF and teleport to the right side of the pass. Yes, we did mountain hop, and we had people on the other side so that we could build over the pass without actually having the pass occupied. We did this method so that we could get people on this side of the map. Once they were on that side, they would leave UTLF and join either UTL equals or UTL 0. We did also use support from NDL, who was in our own alliance that was here in our land as well. Okay, so this is a little of the picture graph that I used to describe to people what we did. We used 3 alliances to push in on the flags on DTT and cut their territory. Once it was cut, we could easily push onto their land. Their flags were getting rallied. This is not like KVK where you have to be on alliance territory, else you will get rallied. This is just us cutting their land and making sure that they don't have access to resources anymore to build more flags. Not only did we have to babysit the forts here, we also teleported to the other side of the map and dropped a fortress on an alliance over there, DTT4, and pushed on them, and I have a little bit of clips of that and I'll show you now. Okay guys, so this is the state of DTT currently. All of their flags are still inactive, even during their active time. I believe they just gave up and maybe moved on to other alliances or just haven't logged in yet. Not really sure. But let me show you the fighting that we did with ULTF. So here with DTT4, we used ULTF and placed an alliance fortress down on them and proceeded to push onto them. And as you can see here, we did multiple rallies on them. A lot of them are bubbled, but they can still hop from city to city as long as they don't try to push a new one. Here's an interesting rally. It's an Osman versus a Pelagius. A Pelagius is not a bad choice for a garrison, but again, this is early on. Let's go ahead and check out the war report here. So it's an Osman with a Mehmed with Pelagius and a Frederick. I mean, it's interesting, but again, this is early game, so it's really hard to tell on these kind. Here's one on a fortress, Osman Mehmed with an Sun Tzu and Amina. Amina and Sun Tzu, not expertise, of course, but it didn't look like it was that bad. Definitely a lot of losses for DTT4, but they're not stopping. They want to continue to fight. They're continuing to put troops inside their alliance fortress. So we're gonna keep rallying them over and over again. Looks like this is a single solo city hit. Ooh, an Osman on a CPO. Don't think that was intentional. Looks like he just reinforced the city. Okay, I see what he did there. He reinforced his city into the central fortress so that he could try to minimize the damage. Here's another rally with a Sun Tzu and a Joan of Arc. Interesting combo. But again, this is early game. Not a lot of people have those good commanders, so I guess Joan of Arc would do some healing, but it would only boost his allies around the fortress. I don't think I would have gone with that. Here's another one, Julius Caesar with a Kusunogi. Not too bad. Seems like it's still equal across the board. Those poor troops. But this is weird. That wasn't okay. So I looked at the wrong report, of course. But that's okay. But as you can see, it was pretty intense fighting for DTT4. They did eventually. Oh, look at that! 166,000 deaths. Oh, it's not very good on a flag. Man, guys, this ULT war was actually pretty fun. We did something different than fighting the Russians, which we have been doing for the past few weeks. Attacking the Chinese alliance in 2 different zones was an extreme tactic that we've been developing for the past week or so because they just weren't going with our in-game plan for KVK. Now, we definitely used a lot of support from NDL and all of the ULT alliances, plus some other people, I think, from 10 may have come in and helped us as well. They're a Japanese alliance, but I can't confirm that. Either way, we suffered a lot of loss, but this loss is definitely needed for early game because this gives you a foothold in the kingdom and shows that you are here as fighters and we're here to win. Now, there's a lot of things that could have happened differently, and this tactic definitely worked for us. So if you want to use it, I would. Building alliance fortresses, center fortresses, remember, only cost alliance credits. The other ones cost resources, and you do need your storehouse to be over 4 in your technology in order to make this happen. Either way, it was a lot of fun. I definitely didn't fight as much as I wanted to, but I recorded a lot of the fight, and I'm supportive completely for ULT. So thanks guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the videos for more content like this. This is on my LilDev Jumper account, and this kingdom is only about 4 weeks old, if that. But that's it for now, guys. So for now, just keep it real.